Hello, my name is Rebecca Marr, and I am the younger sister of Miss Marr. I am in my third year at Oklahoma State University, and I am a human development and family science major. This video was made for my family life and education class, and it is to teach y'all, Page's first grade parents, more about ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences. There is a video and a PDF that is attached in the email that this was sent to y'all in, and I highly encourage you to watch that video and fill out the PDF before we move any further. This video is not for children as well. Please do not watch this around your children. We talk about abuse and depression and suicide, so this video is not suitable for children. The first part of this video, I wanted to talk about an ACE score quiz. In the email that was sent out to y'all with this video link, you will also have a PDF that has an ACE score document on it. And I'm going to go to the next slide, which will have the document on it as well, and we can go through it. But I really encourage y'all to take the quiz before I get to that next slide, because knowing your ACE score beforehand can be very helpful for the rest of this video. So this is the PDF that you will have received in the email that was sent out. It has 10 questions on it. The score is 1 out of 10, or 1 to 10. You can either get 0, you can get a 10. It's very rare. But depending on your score is where you will fall on the spectrum. Usually 6 and 5 are very high. 3 to 1 is kind of common, but most of y'all will be in that type of range. This quiz is actually, I think, pretty new. The first quizzes that they used to make weren't as broad, and so they didn't have a lot of examples like you see in this one, or subsections like in this quiz, but it's pretty easy to take. You just add 1 for yes, 0 for no. So ACEs are adverse childhood experiences, and they often have a lifelong impact on children. And it is often a cycle of abuse. These ACEs are more than likely going to be passed down from generation to generation. They will start somewhere in the family tree, and then they will just cycle and cycle and cycle until the cycle is broken. And it is very, very hard to break that cycle. The two most common types of ACEs are parental separation, which is divorce, or economic hardship. This is like financial difficulties, things like that. There is also a picture on this slide, and it lists the other types of ACEs. They include physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical and emotional neglect, and household dysfunction, like mental illness if a parent has mental illness, if a parent is incarcerated or a relative is incarcerated, the mother was treated violently, and substance abuse, and as well, as I've already said, divorce. So this link is from the email that I have sent y'all as well. This is the same video that I referred to at the beginning of this video that I wanted y'all to watch before we moved on with this video. That video is just about what ACEs are, a little bit more in depth, and how they affect children. And for this slide, I just wanted to go over some of the main contents of the video and some important bits from it. For every kid, every moment counts, and the first few years of their life will have a large impact on who and what they become. A strong foundation leads to a healthier brain and a better emotional well-being. A weak foundation leads to toxic stress. More ACEs, more adverse child experiences, make the risk of more negative health outcomes higher. And on average, if you have 6+ ACEs, you can die on average 20 years earlier than your peers. Parents with high ACE scores can often pass them down to their children, which can cause them to develop a high ACE score as well. And the main thing to take away from this video is changing the conversation can change lives. Being able to talk about your ACEs, seeking out therapy, seeking out resources, can go a long way into helping you and your family. So this slide is about the first ever study on ACEs. It is a relatively new thing to talk about, so there are very few studies about ACEs right now, Most of them are pretty new. The first ever study, which is this one, was called the CDC Kaiser study. It began in 1995 and ended in 1997, and it was conducted in San Diego, California. It included around 17,000 individuals, and the results of the study were that the top ACEs were neglect, parental divorce, and household violence. 2/3 had one ACE, so this was about 11,333 people. And 1/5 had 3 or more ACEs, which was about 3,400 people. And they learned from this study that they needed to ask broader questions. They found that they didn't include questions to be able to collect accurate data. So that is why on the ACE study that you saw on the PDF, there was subsections of questions, and this made it easier to answer the questions and for the individuals taking the quiz to understand what was being asked. So from all the research that my partner and I did, we picked these 3 statistics to tell y'all. We thought that these were the most important from all the research that we've done. So the first statistic is that 61% of non-Hispanic Black children, 51% Hispanic children, 40% non-Hispanic white children, and 23% of non-Hispanic Asian children experience 1 or more ACEs. 45% of children across the United States have experienced at least 1 ACE. 1 out of 10 children have reported experiencing 3 or more ACEs. And the last statistic is it was found that ACE scores have a string correlation with attempted suicide. The higher the score a child has, the higher chance they will commit suicide. And it is very hard to recognize the intervention that is needed or when people need intervention. This slide is about the effects that ACEs have during childhood. ACEs can cause toxic stressors in childhood. Toxic stressors can include poverty, parental mental illness and addiction, family violence, as well as chaotic and unsafe physical environments such as neighborhoods and schools. As a result of these toxic stressors, children may inhibit stress reactions. These stress reactions may include feelings of fear and anxiety, depression, suicide, and increasement in delinquent and juvenile behavior. It also can cause negative academic and school performance, negative brain development, and negative overall health and wellness. ACEs also have an effect on you later in life. ACEs can cause an ample amount of obstructive lifelong problems and can be a direct cause of falling to addiction and substance abuse such as alcoholism, smoking, and pharmaceutical and other hard drug use, as well as increasement of mental and physical and emotional trials such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, and thoughts of suicide. It also increases the risk of strokes, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. And research shows it also has links to cancer. Lastly, the most vital and crucial effect is that ACEs have the chance of being passed down from generation to generation. To combat ACEs, the #1 thing that you can do is prevention. As an adult, you can seek professional and therapeutic help. There are family-centered care services and victim-centered services. And this is very, very, very important in combating ACEs and helping to break the cycle. To prevent passing on ACEs to your children, the #1 thing to do as a parent is create a stable home and healthy environment for your child to grow in. These things can be living in a nice neighborhood, having a healthy relationship with your child, and being involved in their school lives and the community. This is the end of the video, and this is all the resources that my partner and I have used to find all of our research. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video, and if you have any questions, please seek Paige, or she can give you my email. If you have any questions, you can also look at the CDC online. They have great resources, and I highly encourage you to learn more about ACEs if you are interested. Thank you so much.